Ci troviamo a Nemi, nei Castelli Romani, per incontrare Klara e Marko. Sono riusciti a fuggire 2 giorni prima dell'invasione russa. Lei italiana, lui ucraino.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hi, Klara.
Hi.
Okay, so it's the first time you're here in Nemi, right?
Yes, first time Nemi.
Okay, awesome. So you start living in Ukraine. How it is? Like, how come?
Well, we've been dating long distance for quite a while, and then in July I suddenly decided, you know what, let's make this step, and I decided to move there to Lviv with him.
Klara, you said to your parents, I'm going to live with my boyfriend in Ukraine. So how do they say it?
Oh, well, they were a little bit hesitant because I had never been to Ukraine before that, so it was. I think for them it was a very adventurous thing to do, but they were very supportive because they had also been in a long-distance relationship, so they understood what we were going through. They had lived the same thing back in their day, and so they were very supportive, albeit a little worried, as all parents are, but in general I think they were very happy for us.
So you guys, there were conflicts there, but then you start listening to the foreign media. They were talking about a real war. So what did you feel there? What happened?
Yeah, so basically the last few months there was in the media some news that Russia is gathering a lot of troops around the border. And there was a big difference between how I perceived it, because it wasn't something that was very unusual. I didn't expect anything to come out of it, because basically for the last 8 years we had a war with Russia. Yeah, it wasn't the full scale conflict, but still every single day there were shootings on the front line. So it wasn't something that would make me think that, oh, now the war's gonna start, because this thing that gathering troops around our border was something that they tend to do from time to time, and mostly they do it to threaten, to make people panic, and maybe they often do it before some kind of negotiations and when they want to improve their diplomatic status, something like that. So I didn't expect the full-scale conflict. The difference was that the foreign medias were quite actively pushing the narrative that the war is coming, and the fact that a lot of countries called back their citizens was something new. We didn't previously had something like that, but still I didn't pay that much attention to it. I thought it's maybe a little bit exaggerated. So in Ukrainian news, yeah, of course there were, you can see in medias signs like there's a bit more dangers than usual or something like that, but apparently they try not to panic, not to make people panic, because we're quite used to it, that the opposing country is trying to threaten us or something like that.
Okay, so guys, we were talking about you escaping from Ukraine. You were very lucky. Tell us actually the story about you leaving the country.
Yeah, so basically after we had the conversation that we would like to go to Italy for a while, didn't expect to stay here for a long time, just to visit Klara's parents, and also to make everybody that was pressuring us to leave the country to relax a little bit, because apparently that was very difficult for Klara's parents and friends to watch the news knowing that she's in Ukraine. So we decided to move temporarily, and so we took a plane to Pisa on the 22nd. We didn't expect to stay here more than 2 or 3 weeks, but then on the 24th the war burst out, and that day I remember I woke up, and the first thing I did, I checked the phone, and I received the message from my mom saying like, stay in Italy. And then I opened the news and it just hit me. Then the Klara came in and said like, do you know the news? And I was just frustrated. I was reading the news and I couldn't believe that like the war has started. I had such a mix of emotions that I cannot even describe it, and I felt so incredibly lucky, but at the same time I felt that I didn't understand why me, why I'm the one who is lucky and not in Ukraine, because all my parents, like all my relatives, all my friends, they stayed in Ukraine, and they are stuck in the country that is in war, that is being attacked and invaded, and like I feel like I didn't deserve to be that lucky to escape just before the war started. Every single day I keep in touch with my family, I talk to them apparently, but at this point it's very unclear when I'm going to be able to see them again, when I'm going to be able to come back to Ukraine. I truly believe that we'll come back after the war will end, and we will come back because I want to live, to spend the rest of my life in Ukraine, to live in Lviv. It's very difficult. It's very difficult when you do not, where you basically living the best time of your life, and you were planning your life. You had such an amazing life, and then just with a snap of a finger, everything changed. If the Russia is going to be able to occupy Ukraine, I don't want to come back to the city, to my hometown that has Russian flags in it. For me, it's going to be super painful to know that they're going to live under the Russian rule.
So, Marko, you say you have some people from Ukraine that want to talk with us, so we go inside and we talk a little bit with them about what is actually means to live there now that there's the war, okay?
Entriamo per parlare con Sofia e Yuri. Sofia è momentaneamente in India. Yuri sta attraversando l'Ucraina per documentare i rifugiati delle città bombardate.
Klara, thank you so much for inviting, and Massimo, thank you so much for making all of this together. Marko, just thank you for being Marko, that we still stay in touch. This is like, so, I mean, you have people, but then the war happens and you understand how more valuable those people are, because there is a reason you don't ever see these people again, and you're like, oh my gosh, you do love these people. And this is really great to receive that much support from Italy, from the young people as we are, which is really cool. I mean, what I have been also noticing, I don't know if you guys have like if you have also experienced that I am afraid this is really gonna become a little bit of habit, how it happened in 2014. Even now, after a month, I'm like, okay, there is the war, and I don't know what exactly to do, so not to get used to it. But maybe it's also the reaction of your body, of your brain, because you cannot.
You're getting used to the war. Yeah, that's true. I also experienced the same thing, but I mean, it's very, very painful to go through the war and for your whole mind and body. So I think we're just gonna burn out. Now we are more aware of what it is like, and we just have to continue doing what we can and what we have to do. Yeah.
And just one more story, because I stopped talking to my family in Russia. My grandma, she was living in Ukraine for 40 years. She is from Bashkortostan. It's an autonomous republic of Russia, where people have their culture, people have their religion, people have their language, but it's always they are part of Russia. So my grandma, she has been living in Ukraine for 40 years. And 2 years ago, she left to Russia because her son is there. Guys, in 2 years, she got completely brainwashed. Before the war started, there was, you remember, on February 16th, if I'm not mistaken, Russia closed for some studies. They closed the sky. I called my grandma and we were talking about this, and her position was like very not understandable. I was like, okay, let's leave it, because I mean she's my grandma, and I'm like, okay, let's leave it. But then the war starts, and I'm calling her, and she tells me that we have the civil war in Ukraine, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Because this is your grandma, the person who's supposed to listen to you, and I'm living in Ukraine. I know what is happening. And yeah, so then my uncle and my cousins joined this conversation, and this was just crazy to hear everything they said. And that's it. Now I don't have family in Russia, which is the story. Maybe one day they will wake up and they will be like, oh my gosh, Russia was attacking Ukraine, and they will feel embarrassed.
Ciao Yuri.
Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao, piacere di conoscerti. Ascolta, dove ti trovi adesso?
Adesso mi trovo a Chernivtsi, è una città presso del confine con Romania. Qui ci sono per motivi giornalistici, diciamo, perché ovviamente le città vicino ai confini sono destinazioni strategiche per rifugiati che partono che scappano dalle altre città meno fortunate, diciamo, che stanno presso il confine con Russia. Perciò mi trovo qua. Una città che si chiama Leopoli, all'occidente di Ucraina, al confine polacco. Nella mia città solo una volta, un giorno, ci siamo svegliati con le notizie che un oggetto strategico era bombardato. Però generalmente qua la vita continua, i rifugiati arrivano nell'oeste del paese per trovare qui un rifugio, per continuare a vivere qua, perché i loro edifici, le loro case sono distrutte. Il primo giorno, quando le notizie, il 24 febbraio, le notizie bruttissime ci sono svegliate alle 5 di mattina, che in tutte le regioni del paese i oggetti, le basi militari sono state attaccate dai russi. Poi dal 24 febbraio in avanti viviamo nello stato delle allarme, le sirene echeggiano 2-3 volte per giorno e si deve rifugiarsi. E ognuno decise per se stesso. Alcune persone già non lo prendono sul serio, perché è moltissime volte per giorno che squillano queste sirene, e allora se tu lo fai giorno e notte, diciamo, se stai nel rifugio, se stai nel rifugio tutta la notte, senza possibilità di dormire lì, di respirare bene, perché quelli rifugi non sono preparati, non abbiamo mai pensato prima di avere questa esperienza. Dopo tornare a casa non ti serve più niente, solo stai esaurito, stai già apatico. La psicologia di moltissime persone è cambiata. E quello che era orribile prima adesso diventa normale. perché io parlo come giornalista, parlo ogni giorno con rifugiati nelle città ucraine come Kharkiv, Mariupol, Irpin, Bucha, quelle città bombardate. Quello che dicono loro è che io credevo impossibile nel XXI secolo. I civili non hanno niente da mangiare, fanno funerali nei cortili loro, accanto edifici, accanto le case loro, con le vittime dei bombardamenti costanti, perché nelle città come Mariupol ogni mezz'ora erano bombardati loro, ogni mezz'ora, cioè non ci sono sirene più lì perché non c'è più l'elettricità, neanche l'acqua, neanche il cibo, niente, non c'è niente.
Io ti ringrazio tantissimo per la tua testimonianza, insomma, di essere stato con noi. Ti faccio veramente un grande in bocca al lupo.
Grazie.
Ciao Yuri. Ringraziamo Marco e Klara per la loro testimonianza, augurando a Marco che la sua famiglia stia bene e rimanga al sicuro. Marco and Klara, thank you so much for having been with us.
Thank you.
Bye.